WCBI News at 6 starts now.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us. 4 teenagers in West Point are facing capital murder charges tonight in a March homicide.
17-year-old William Austin Hill and 19-year-old Emerson Houston were arrested on Friday. 17-year-old Grayson Klutz and 15-year-old Jeremy Klutz Jr. were arrested earlier this week. All 4 have been charged with capital murder in the death of 41-year-old Mikhail Craven. Craven was found lying in a ditch on Blake Road, close to the Pine Grove Road intersection on March 11th. When he was taken to the hospital, it was discovered that he had been shot. Craven died of his wounds. Investigators now believe the robbery was the possible motive in Craven's death. Bond has been denied for Houston, Hill, and Grayson Klutz. Jeremy Klutz was given a $75,000 bond and must wear an ankle monitor.
We knew the victim in this, we know the suspects, we know their families, and you know, this sends a shockwave through your community anytime it's a homicide. But I mean, you know, this would just seem like it felt a little bit closer because, you know, the connectedness that we have with the families.
All 4 are being charged as adults. Austin Hill was previously charged with attempted murder for stabbing last October.
The city of Columbus has a curfew in place for teenagers. Now police are working to remind everyone about the time constraints for teens. Assistant Chief Dorian Johnson says the first curfew needs to start at home. He believes help from parents will have a big impact in keeping children off the streets. But for now, this is the curfew.
It shall be unlawful for any minor to remain upon any public street, highway, park, sideway, or other public place within the city between the hours of 11 p.m. on any Sunday through Thursday until 5 a.m. and then of the following day from 12:01 a.m. to 5 a.m. on any Friday and Saturday. Now, of course, you know, there's exemptions as far as certain period of times. You know, of course, if they're with a parent at that time, then there's fine.
And Johnson says there will be increased enforcement of the curfew, especially as we get closer to the summer months.
And a warm and muggy day led to a few isolated showers, even a few thunderstorms as well. Earlier this afternoon, starting out, Tippecanoe County moved over towards, actually spread over towards Montgomery County, including Webster County. But you can tell that has since dissipated as I zoom back out across the entirety of the region. Just a couple more showers left over up towards Calhoun County. Otherwise, we are starting to clear out. Temperatures across the region, somewhat of a mixed bag. Fairly warm down to the south with temperatures still in the upper 80s, mid 70s to the north, though, current to 75 degrees. I've got our full forecast and when widespread showers and storms return coming up in just a few minutes.
Flash flood, thunderstorms, even tornado weather in Mississippi can be unpredictable, and you never know what will strike. The Lowndes County Board of Supervisors wants to make sure people in all parts of the county have a safe place to go during severe weather. Yeah,
that's right. Our Takia Cummings talks with a county leader about his concerns for the safety of his community. She joins us in the studio with more. Takia?
I talked with District 4 Supervisor Jeff Smith, and he thinks everyone should have a chance to seek safety during bad weather, and he is willing to put in the work to do what it takes to keep residents safe.
My plan is a plan that is badly needed throughout the western part of Lowndes County. There's a lack of safe rooms / storm shelters.
Many people in southern and western Lowndes County don't have a safe place to go when severe weather hits. District 4 Supervisor Jeff Smith thinks it's past time for the county to do something about the issue.
You have an area that has easily, I'll say 70% mobile homes, manufactured homes, which are not safe during weather events such as tornadoes or hurricanes, and there's nowhere for people to seek shelter during those times of bad weather.
The county's only public shelters are in New Hope, Caledonia, and East Columbus. That's too far for many residents across the river to get to safely when the weather turns severe. Smith says the West Lowndes area deserves at least one community shelter.
The mere fact that we have no shelters suggests that we have a concern that we need to take serious. We have a school, a number of businesses and residents that live in that area of western Lowndes County, and during times of severe weather, we have no shelter for those people. And so that's the concern I have.
Smith says that safety should be a consideration in all new construction.
It makes sense if you're building new facilities that they have the capacity to serve as a safe area for the residents that live in that community.
Smith says that he has taken action and he has personally written to MEMA to try to get this project started. He is urging others to follow his lead.
I ask that the citizens get on board and encourage their elected officials to also draft letters encouraging MEMA to approve our application for safe rooms west of Lowndes County.
Smith says that there will be a meeting Tuesday, May 10th at 6 at the Crawford Community Center to talk about this and more.
All right, Takia, thanks so much. Tuesday was the deadline for city and county governments to opt out of Mississippi's medical marijuana program. Columbus is one of the cities that let the deadline pass without taking action. So this means Columbus is automatically enrolled and can allow dispensaries and growing operations within the city limits. At a press conference this morning, Mayor Keith Gaskin said he has already heard from realtors who've been fielding inquiries from potential operators. So far, the city has not established any zoning restrictions beyond the state's guidelines, which include provisions that medical marijuana facilities have to be at least 1,000 feet away from any school, church, or daycare facility. City Attorney Jeff Turnage says the Planning Commission will be looking over the guidelines and suggest some changes to the council.
Troy Johnston, who's the MML's general counsel, told me that he figured if the city wanted to implement some time, place, and manner zoning restrictions, we probably would have comfort up to about July 1 because the permits are not likely to be issued by the state until that point.
Over 40 churches in the city limit. Potential dispensary locations may be limited, but business owners can request waivers from churches and daycare centers that would allow them to open within 500 feet.
A Tupelo health clinic that has spent decades providing free medical care for Lee County residents is being torn down, but that's not all bad news.
For more than 30 years, Antone Tannehill Good Samaritan Health Services has been serving patients at its clinic on Magazine Street, but outdated equipment and years of damage to the facility have taken their toll. Our Stephen Pempo was there this morning. He joins us in the studio with more on plans for the new facility. Stephen.
Andrea Winston, that's right. About a year and a half ago, Good Samaritan Health Services started making plans to renovate and upgrade their clinic. They're pouring over $500,000 into providing better treatment for more patients who have to work without health insurance. After 30 years, the walls of this free health clinic in Tupelo are being torn down. But something new and better will be taking its place. Since 1992, Antone Tannehill Good Samaritan Health Services has provided free medical, dental, and pharmacy services for working Lee County residents who can't afford health insurance.
We're taking care of that group of working citizens that really, most of them work 2 and 3 jobs, and they just want to continue working so they can provide for their family. Executive Director Amy FAGAN says a significant number of people in Lee County are facing those circumstances, and they're constantly welcoming in new patients. But years of electrical problems, plumbing damage, and other issues have left them unable to take full advantage of the 5,000 square foot building. We have 7 exam rooms allotted, but we were only able to use 2.
It's come to a point where with some of the equipment we have is outdated. We were gracious to have it when it was donated to us. The last thing we want to do is tell someone that we can't accept them as a new patient. And we've made it work even through the pandemic. We've kind of moved people around. The new building will feature 7 fully operational exam rooms and a drive-through pharmacy that'll run right along here. So those that are working and busy and may not have time to stop what they're doing, find a place to park, come in and get their prescription, they can come through our drive-through and pick up their medication. It will also feature a joint classroom and kitchen for teaching patients how to manage their diet
or how to cook a meal for families on a budget.
It's very difficult to teach someone, maybe living with diabetes, how to change their lifestyle. So, how to cook a meal or plan a grocery list.
FAGAN says they expect the project to last 6 months and cost about $650,000.
Enhancing the services that we provide and increasing the number of patients that we see.
During construction, the clinic will operate out of the former HealthWorks building on 219 South Industrial Road.
The family of Amiya-Braxton, the 7-year-old killed when she was struck by a car while getting off of her school bus, has started a foundation. We'll tell you about the work they plan to do. That's coming up on WCBI News.
You're watching WCBI News at 6 with Audrey Assell and Winston Reed.
Welcome back, everyone. You probably remember this story. Amiya-Braxton's life was cut short when she was hit by a car and killed as she was getting off her school bus in Pontotoc County. Her older sister now wants to make sure the 7-year-old is never forgotten. Allie
Martin talks to Amiya's older sister about the foundation she has started in her sister's memory and how it can help others across the region.
Amiya was one of the sweetest little girls ever. Like, she was so sweet. She loved school. She loved going to church. She loved to sing. She loved to dance.
Bree Patton lights up when she talks about her younger sister, Amiya Braxton. Tragically, Amiya's life was cut short in October 2016 when she was struck and killed as she was getting off her school bus in front of her Pontotoc County home. She was only 7 years old.
It hurts after 6 years of not having her here.
2 separate grand juries chose not to indict the driver of the car that struck and killed Amiya. Bree Patton says she wanted to do something to make sure Amiya's memory lived on, so she and her husband Demetrius have started the Amiya-Braxton Foundation. The foundation has several goals.
The more people we have to stand, maybe the case can move along and we can get some progression going on. The second goal of the foundation is we plan to give back to Black businesses. As the foundation grows, we will be doing more community work. The third goal would be to give people like me who have lost a sibling a safe space to come to and be able to cry out and be vulnerable.
Demetrius Patton says the foundation can also be part of the ongoing healing process for the family and those who knew and loved Amiya.
I feel like this will finally be able to give family the peace and justice that they need to put everything to rest, you know, and to keep her name alive, because after so long, you know what I'm saying, everybody act like they forget. And this is something that we are not trying to do. We are not going to let this go. We are not going to let her name die, her legacy, anything like that. We're going to keep this alive for as long as we can.
The first event for the amiya-Braxton Foundation is a fundraiser, a fish fry, this Saturday at the Mixed Lounge in Tupelo. The family is hoping for a good turnout to help keep Amiya's story in front of people and also to raise money for the foundation's work. In Tupelo, Allie Martin, WCBI News.
For more information about upcoming events, you can go to the Amiya-Braxton Foundation's Facebook page. There is also a community-wide field day at Howard Stafford Park in Pontotoc on May 28th from 11:30 until 5, sponsored by the foundation.